Motherfucker, Thug Nation alert. Keep his name on the streets till you lay in the dirt.
Bobby Brown, all these artists, we trying to put the East Coast death row just like the West Coast death row and make it major.
I'm strictly East Coast, no matter where the tune comes from. The East Coast is gonna be put on there from Bobby Brown. That's where I'm from, and that's where my heart is. I have a wild image, but you know, people really don't know me. I'm Boston. I'm from Boston. And you just gotta put the attitude on it.
The truth about Ronnie, she's a sweet old girl, about the sweetest little girl in the whole wide world.
My attitude is strictly East Coast.
Death Row East is gonna be a personification of what we did on the West Side. We're gonna do it to the East Side.
Only Gab can do it like this.
He meets Bobby Brown at an after party. From there, boom, he's Bobby's bodyguard.
It's your boy Pops. Bobby Brown trying to hide, but I'm gonna blow him up. He right there. Look. Crazy.
One of her affairs that I am willing to mention is the one she had with Tupac.
Yo, YouTube, what up? It's your homie Gab, I'm in the building. And this is Machiavelli Media. So much gets lost of the Tupac death row history in the sense that people forget to talk about it. Now you hear Tupac talk about Death Row East. And in that interview he did with Sway, that was released as an album under, in his own words, Tupac said himself that Death Row was trying to sign Bobby Brown. Now, one would say, why would Death Row and Tupac want to sign Bobby Brown? At one point in time, Bobby Brown was a huge star. Bobby Brown is the original Bad Boy of R&B. Straight up. Bobby Brown was getting locked up like every week. Every city, every state. He was a wild boy. And Bobby Brown made hits. He made hits. You know, recently on the Verses on Instagram, Babyface Edmonds was going against Teddy Riley. And when Babyface started dropping that Bobby Brown, it was fire emojis everywhere. It just got me to thinking, could that have really worked? Could you imagine Tupac and Bobby Brown in the mid-1990s together at one time on the same record label? Or them lawyers would have been getting paid. Them death row legal attorneys would have had fat pockets if you had Bobby Brown and Tupac under the same umbrella in the same building. Now, it made sense in several ways because Bobby Brown gave Suge Knight his first start, his first shot. That's right. A lot of people don't know that Suge Knight was Bobby Brown's bodyguard. Matter of fact, on that BET Death Row Chronicles, they talked about how Suge Knight actually saved Bobby Brown's life. It was a hit out on Bobby Brown. Suge went to them dudes, handled that for him, and the rest was history. Bobby Brown took him on the road, showed Suge the game. Suge got his foot in the door and never looked back. So it was some history with Bobby Brown and Suge Knight. Now, Tupac and Bobby Brown, that's a whole different story. Tupac, Mike Tyson, Bobby Brown, all of them used to hang out. That's a fact. Hung out all the time. Now, it was a little, controversy that came up a couple years ago when Bobby Brown admitted that his wife, rest in peace, Miss Whitney Houston, had an affair with Tupac Shakur. So could Bobby Brown and Tupac got over that and actually worked together? I don't know, because they was hanging out together after that. You know, Hollywood in the entertainment industry is like high school. Once one person break up with somebody, the next person they know start dating them, and it's just one circle. Now, you heard Bobby Brown say, you know, in an interview recently that, you know, he admitted that Whitney had an affair with Tupac. And he also said that it happened early in that relationship, early in that marriage. And, you know, they was able to push forward. But he did admit when Tupac died that, you know, Whitney took it very hard. She cried, and he said it hurt him to know that his wife was mourning the loss of an ex-lover. And I'm like, yo, that's crazy for that man to admit that. You know what I mean? That's heavy right there. But I think it could have worked, man. I mean, like I say, the footage of Tupac, I believe, was from '96. Him and Bobby Brown hanging out when the young lady caught them on camera. And that definitely was the Tupac Death Row days. So Bobby Brown was in the building. But through Bobby Brown's own admissions, he was never faithful to Whitney Houston the whole time. You know, I hear a lot of people talk about the women Tupac, you know, was romantically involved with. But Bobby Brown had a long list too, yo. I mean, women you wouldn't think of. The Sades, the Janet Jacksons of the world. Yeah, Bobby Brown was that dude. So, you know, it come out later that Whitney Houston even had a girlfriend. No disrespect to Whitney, but Whitney had a girlfriend. So, I mean, Hollywood is different from real life. You know, I don't know how Bobby Brown would have took that. Could he have moved forward with the situation with Death Row? I believe so. Another issue that I took a clip from an interview from Bobby Brown in the late 80s with him talking about how much admiration and how much he repped the East Coast. That was a younger Bobby Brown, but let's just say he still felt that way. The thing is, Death Row was starting Death Row East. Death Row East, so they could have the same impact they had on the West Coast, they could have on the East Coast. I mean, it's brilliant. It was a brilliant idea from start to finish. He already took over the game. He was about to make it official on both coasts, and they was putting together a mega team. Now, the Bobby Brown in the 1980s, they came up with No Addition and would later go solo, was a lot different from Bobby Brown in the 90s. I'm going to come out and say it. A lot of people had written Bobby Brown off. Bobby Brown's legal troubles and drug addiction and things of that nature had got in the way of his career. But you hear about Tupac always talking about rehabilitation. See, Tupac, you know, had a special place in his heart for people that were drug addicted. Look at his mom. Tupac always rooted for the underdog. Tupac believed in second chances. Tupac applied these things to his everyday life. This was, you know, a growing philosophy. Redemption. And I believe he would be very excited to have somebody like Bobby Brown on Death Row because, like I say, Bobby Brown was a star. Hit after hit after hit. I just thought that was a fascinating, you know, idea and a part of hip-hop music history that we got robbed of. Because once again, when Tupac lost his life, September the 13th, 1996, a lot of the great ideas and plans and just structure just totally died with Tupac. So did Death Row Records. Anyway, I need you guys to share, and like this video. Don't forget to sub to the channel. This is Machiavelli Media. I'm your homie Gab. It's been a pleasure as always. I'm signing off. I'm about to hit y'all with the peace.